As you look at the Queen Mary, it is a home matchup for the LA Elite Team Boxing League. There is high stakes with the Houston Hitmen and LA Elite. Will it be followed by high drama? Hi, everybody. Welcome inside our TBL studios. I'm Dave Bontempo, along with my longtime pal, Al Bernstein. Let's take a look at the standings real quick because there's a lot on the line. LA, you win, you're in the playoffs. Houston, you go from number 11 all the way up to number 6. So other than that magnitude, no pressure on these teams tonight.
Yeah.
Al, when you look at these squads, LA's had a feast and famine type season. Yeah. Houston coming in here, and they've reshuffled the lineup again.
Yeah, you know, they have really made a lot of changes over the course of the season, trying to tinker with it to find a winning formula. Well, one of the changes that turned out to be fortuitous for them was on May 22nd when Natalia Denise joined them. This 30-year-old Taekwondo, karate, and kickboxing combatant, and 1-1 as a pro boxer, by the way, has provided Houston with 3 wins, starting off by beating Desiree Davila twice in the same night. And then, on June 6th, she beat Rebecca Irwin. But those 2 women are pro neophytes, and tonight she's going to take on a 3-time women's world champion. Can she keep her streak going? Now, the LA Elite has gotten a boost from power-punching 154-pounder Angel Munoz. His 6-2 record includes 2 knockdowns, one against the excellent Dizlan Gainza, who Munoz has beaten 3 times, amazingly. His win over Mauricio King also produced an extra point for a knockdown, and this 23-year-old Californian may be able to use his power to help LA get into the playoffs.
Okay, the TBL format, 24 3-minute rounds. Every round is the last round. We have 8 launch, 8 middle, and 8 money rounds. And in each, we have a round to watch. What is the round to watch in the launch rounds?
Yeah, let's look at round number 4. Denise is involved with this one against Erica Farias, who is the 3-time world champion that I referenced in that feature on Denise. Farias and the other LA women come in here with an amazing 24-6 record combined this season. So it's going to be a challenge for the Houston women to keep up with them.
All right, the third member of our broadcast team, Sofia Gutierrez, is at ringside with her report. How are you, Sofia?
Some good fights tonight. Now, tonight's matchup between the LA Elite and the ahead of tonight's fight. Now, I spoke to Brian Caldwell, the coach for the
All right, couple of technical difficulties. We'll resolve that and get into the action. As coming up, we will have the action. The fighters are on their way in. The coaches are there. The TBL Bellas are all ready to go. LA and Houston getting ready to do battle in a very important TBL matchup. We'll be back to get the introductions right after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. All right, a lot of atmosphere. How about the Bellas? Nice new addition to the league this year. And when you know the Bellas are here, you know the action is right around the corner. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. You know, we've talked about this LA team. We saw the 20-point lead they got over Dallas, and then other times they don't quite come up to it. But this is a team that, as you say, has pockets of talent.
Yeah, they really do. You know, to make a literary reference, it's been the best of times and the worst of times for them this season. And those pockets of talent include, on the women's side, Lizette Lopez and Erica Sanchez, who are extraordinary, only 3 losses between them. Sean Brewer, who we're going to see twice tonight, who is a very, very talented fighter. The question is, can their lineup produce the consistency and the volume of wins that we see from the top teams like Miami and Philadelphia and Las Vegas?
Because when they get on a roll, they are as good as anybody. We've seen some vintage performances by the LA team this year. So, you know what happens now. We're going to go back into the ring. We'll see the introductions. We'll have the anthem. Fighters will get ready. You'll see the corrals, everybody marching in. And then we'll be off to action in this particular matchup. And as they're getting ready for the final time, hey, LA, I think, has maybe the best home field advantage in the entire league.
That's a very good point. They really do. Their fans are out there and they're supporting them, and we've seen it before. I mean, we saw it, when they had their last home game when they were really, really rolling. And I think what that does is give them the kind of infectious feeling that that team can have to get on one of those runs which you talked about when they beat the Enforcers 30-9, I think it was.
Yeah, and got off to a 20-0 lead. So LA, very lively at home. Let's go inside and get the festivities started.
Welcome to the next chapter of high-impact, non-stop action. This is Team Boxing League, where every round is the last round, and every fighter leaves it all in the ring. Each moment of TBL season airs live on MSG Networks, along with Envoy TV, Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. We are here at Thunder Studios in Los Angeles, California, for tonight's Week 14 matchup between the visiting Houston Hitmen and your hometown LA Elite. We would like to thank the California State Athletic Commission Executive Director Andy Foster for overseeing tonight's event. Your referees in charge of the action all evening long are Cameron Frizzell and Rudy Barragan. Also, big thank you to our fine sponsors, Climax Moonshine Fire number 32, Balance of Nature, Serenity Springs Recovery Center, and HotelPlanner.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the visiting Houston Hitmen.
All right, so here come the Hitmen. They had a nice run of a victory over Dallas after Dallas had crushed them, and then a tie with San Antonio. So you thought this team was at its high mark, unable to sustain it, but does show flashes time to time of a team that has been improving.
And it is intriguing because of that tie. They're in a little better position than they might otherwise be.
The head coach of the Houston Hitmen, esteemed trainer Brian Caldwell. Here is the starting lineup for Houston. Featherweight, Julia Gallegos. Featherweight, Kenneth Taylor. Lightweight, Jaden Alpo. Super lightweight, Natalia Denise. Welterweight, Oscar Trujillo. Super welterweight, Solomon Colton. Cruiserweight, David Stevens. Heavyweight, Mike Nguyen. featherweight Denise Moran. Florida Golden Glove champion welterweight Manuel the Venezuelan Monster Sangroni. Middleweight Damian Lescalil. And light heavyweight Devin Thorne. That is the Houston Hitmen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hometown LA Elite.
As you said, the best of times and the worst of times, Al. This team that's had some big moments. Trying to get one more tonight. Sanchez, Lopez, and Munoz, some of their key fighters. They lost to Vegas after that terrific performance against Dallas. So they need one more, and it's right in front of them tonight.
Head coach of the LA Elite, world-renowned trainer, Manny Robles. Here is the starting lineup for LA. Featherweight Erica Sanchez. Texas Golden Gloves champion featherweight Sean Gusto Brewer. Lightweight Jose Pablo Rodriguez. Super lightweight Erica Farias. Welterweight Osvaldo Lopez. Super welterweight Angel Munoz. Cruiserweight Juan Higuera. Heavyweight Jonathan Rice. Featherweight Lisette Lopez. Lightweight Keith Hunter. Welterweight Jose Chalet. U.S. Olympian and former world title challenger, middleweight Terrell Gausha. And super middleweight Raul Solomon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the LA Elite. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all please rise if you're able to as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem being performed tonight by Desiree Sanchez.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, yea, proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, who say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Desiree Sanchez with the singing of our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin the launch rounds between the Houston Hitmen and LA Elite. We begin at featherweight, Houston, Julia Gallegos. LA, Erica Sanchez.
Well, we're talking about this. This really could be quite a fistic affair. Gallegos debuted it, beat Brenda Cardenas and Tierra Brandt on the same night. Good way to start. And Erica Sanchez, two-time National Golden Gloves winner, had her 8-fight win streak recently snapped by Florencia Britos.
Yeah, stylistically, this match is just perfect because Sanchez wants to come in and be active. Gallegos had a phenomenal fight against Tierra Brandt her last time out. I mean, that fight was just excellent. And stylistically, it just looks, to me, it looks like it's going to be a good one.
Meet you in the center of the ring or in the phone booth. Erica Sanchez since dropping down to 126, one of the top performers. And we've seen the other ones recently, Cottrell, Ginnathan, Lizette Lopez. And as advertised, here we go, loaded up. Sanchez trying to press here.
Sanchez's game plan is always the same. March forward, get on the inside, start to work the body and the head. Gallegos has a good jab, but when she uses it consistently.
And that would be especially meaningful here. But Sanchez is getting unfettered access inside.
Yeah, but she's landing her left hook, Sanchez, and the right hands are landing from Gallegos. This is what I thought this was going to be, a slugfest.
Off to a blazing start. Houston and LA. LA on its home turf.
You know, both these women are good body punchers. Sanchez certainly is, and also Gallegos when she gets down there.
Yep, there you go.
There it is.
Good hooks here by Sanchez as they both pretty much agreed that the jab is not needed in this contest.
Boy, you know, right hands and lefts from Sanchez and then uppercuts and right hands from Gallegos. This is just a good action fight.
High quality shots too, good percentage. There are power in every shot here.
Gallegos does not want to be against the ropes. You don't want to be there against Sanchez. You have to counter punch off it and then move, and that's what she just did there.
There's the hook that got in by Sanchez and a good body shot by Gallegos.
The one thing Gallegos doesn't want to do is hook with Sanchez. When she does that, it's, you know, it's not helping her. But what a great round. And there's some of those rights by Gallegos and the uppercut. That does not deter Sanchez, however.
There was only a light sledgehammer that hit me.
Yeah, exactly. And Sanchez marches forward and lands some good shots.
Toe-to-toe, in your face. Only the bell could stop this one from going further. That was really an entertaining matchup.
Well, today, the one fight I was looking for, I was looking most forward to are the two between these two women, and this is why. There's Sanchez marching forward. She lands, her left hand was very effective in that round. But Gallegos gets hers in as well, but takes a right hand in return from it. And at the end of the round, they were battling away with Gallegos on the ropes, but occasionally counterpunching effectively. And we'll see who the judges liked.
Hey, tell him to turn on my mic. Tell him to turn on. Check. TBL fans, the winner of round one by way of unanimous decision. From the LA Elite, Erica Sanchez.
All right, so Sanchez gets the nod. We will see it again in round 17.
Round two at featherweight, Houston, Kenneth Taylor. LA, Sean Brewer.
Kenneth Taylor, 2 losses to Alejandro Meniano in his debut. And Sean Brewer, 8-2 this year, has really come on. So found the way to do it.
And both his losses by split decision. Last time out he lost a split decision. He split one win and one loss with Ioanni Argelagos, but twice his losses have been by split decision. So everything he's done for the most part this season's been pretty good.
Let's see how they stack up now when you checking out the scoring. 1 point for a decision. Get a knockdown, you get 2 points. 2 knockdowns is 3. 4 points for knockout, TKO, DQ forfeit. The route we've seen a few fighters able to take this year. Put on the pressure, get the referee to stop the fight, and you get the 4. So, yeah, there's all these implications. We had a recent fight where there was no extra points, and then we've seen other fights in which it's bombs away.
Yeah, you never know. You know, Taylor, his last pro fight outside of TBL in October, he had a TKO loss against Felix Perea, and of course he lost those 2 fights on June 7th, the 2 rounds in TBL. So he would love to get back on the winning track. He's 15-6-2 as a pro, so he's had some success there, and he's hoping tonight he can turn it around. Brewer uses his height and reach very effectively. That's part of the reason why he's been so successful this year. And it's by far his best year in the TBL. I mean, he's really blossomed.
You find it. You talk to the coaches. You even go back and look at video and talk to your teammates. Make a couple adjustments, and sometimes it might just be I'll be a little more active. Sometimes it might be I will do this off of the front foot. I'll sit down on my punches, and whatever it is, Brewer has found it this year.
Yeah, there's an example of some good combination punching that he is capable of doing. He lives in Henderson, Nevada, right near me, but he represents Milwaukee, and that's why he has introduced from there. That's his hometown, and you know, he said, I always want to represent them.
Yeah, well, you have fans back there, a lot of them looking in on this, I'm sure. And he's become a staple force of dependability for LA, and these are important individual matchups that go on right now. Not only are you trying to help your team win tonight, but you're also trying to convince the coaching staff to get you into the lineup for the playoffs and maybe be counted on in the money rounds, which is kind of an all-star designation. So these last couple of matchups mean so much, not only for the teams, but individually.
Very good round for Brewer. Sean Brewer showed us why he's got 8 wins this season, and he was more active, did more punching, did a good job on both the inside and the outside. He took a nice right hand there from Taylor, but for the most part, and he lands his own, it was Sean Brewer doing more of the effective work.
Round 2 by way of split decision. From LA, Sean Brewer.
Early lesson to everybody. Take nothing for granted.
Round 3
gets the win.
Lightweight, Houston, Jaden Alpo.
LA 2-0.
Jose Pablo Rodriguez.
All right, so Rodriguez and Alpo. Rodriguez 4-3 this year, 10-14 overall, alternating wins and losses. Said he wants to represent Jocotepec in Mexico, Big Berry area where he's from, and from the state of Jalisco, which is credited as the birthplace of mariachi music.
Oh, I did not know that.
We love that so much. We see that on the Texas circuit when the people come on up, and he's from that area, and he's very proud to represent the people there.
Mariachi music and boxing have a strong history together, needless to say. Yeah, he had a tough season 3, 2-8 during that time, but now he's turned things around with that 4-3 record this season. And his last time out in June 6th, he split with Jack Siambaku, who is a very good fighter. And Jaden Alpo, who's got a really good uppercut, good left hook. He got some pop also. He's had a little bit of a tough season at 4-7, but he knocked down Frenchie Saya with a left hook. And also Rodriguez knocked down Saya too, so they have that in common.
And he has, a nice win over an 18-6 Malik Lark at that time. So on a given night, he can find it.
Right now, Rodriguez is really throwing some nice combinations and good body work, and there comes Alpo back again.
Yeah, Jaden Alpo early on looked like he would be one of the leaders of this Houston team, based on the fights that we're referencing here.
Yeah, he's starting to slide a little bit, and he's hoping he can help lead them to possibly the playoffs.
Yeah, that tie by Houston really is one that benefited both Houston and San Antonio. San Antonio had that playoff edge until it went and clinched and got victory number 4. Won't need it, but that would have been the tiebreaker for them. And for Houston, like the tie, should they win tonight, would vault them over LA.
Rodriguez on the inside has done a very good job. Alpo landed a nice right hand. He's landed a couple of really good right hands. I mentioned he's a good left hook artist, but he's landed the right. But Rodriguez has done, I think, some better work on the inside. There you see him ripping body shots and hooks, although Alpo comes back. So this has been a really good round of boxing.
I take my turn with a few, you take your turn with a few, and they both get good shots in. So will it come down to who gets the last word in this? Good action back and forth. Hooks by Rodriguez, excellent body work by Alpo. Best effort in a while for both fighters.
Yeah, I agree. Excellent performance. And they both stayed in the pocket. There you see the excitement in the corral. And they stayed in the pocket with each other, and they wanted to exchange and get things done offensively. And they both were able to do it. Here's Rodriguez doing some good work, even though and Alpo coming back with the right. I mentioned Alpo is a good left hook artist, but his right hand was important tonight. And there it is again. The combination punching from Rodriguez was excellent on the inside.
From LA, Jose Pablo Rodriguez.
And so LA off to the races so far.
Round 4 at super lightweight. Houston, Natalia Denise. LA, Erica Farias.
Okay, we talked about this at the top of the show. Denise beat 2 fighters making their debut. Last time out, steps up big time in this one.
Yeah, she's facing a woman with vast experience. Farias, a 3-time world champion in women's pro boxing. She is 41, but she has, Farias is kind of on a nice roll here now. She's now 5-3 this year with a win streak going. She beat Joanna Nwamaru twice her last time out. And she's starting to, I think, kind of hit her stride here this season.
Yeah, that was an important victory over Nwamaru, who had been on a bit of a surge when she wasn't fighting the very top names in the division. And
had beaten Farias twice before.
Yeah, very disciplined to take that back from her.
Denise, I mentioned it early that she's in Taekwondo, karate, kickboxing. So boxing, she's only 1-1 as a pro in boxing. So this sport she's still kind of figuring it out. But along the way, she got those 3 wins that we talked about for Houston, and they're very happy about that. She switches a lot from righty to lefty.
You saw her make the move right there and then go back. And the interesting thing is, what, like, you're fighting someone who switches a lot. When do you bite? When do you go in there and think that you got an edge and try to make them pay for that?
Well, Farias has a pretty good right hand, and when Denise switches to the lefty stance, we would expect to see it. You know, I don't know if Denise switching is some grand scheme or just, oh, there is a right hand from Sanchez. I don't know if it's a grand plan or if it just comes from her being in those other disciplines.
Yes.
You know, sometimes that happens there, right?
Right, well, you're taking a look. Your opponent's always moving, so you're on a different side.
And you square up sometimes on purpose, which they don't do in boxing, right?
Well, we had a unique thing happen there that a right hand by Farias turns Denise into a lefty.
Yeah, exactly. That you don't see every day. Well, Farias has been very active in this round. Denise has been pretty economical with the punches, has not gotten off offensively too well. And ultimately, it may be your undoing in the decision department.
Well, this has been fairly surgical by Farias. Talked about her hot streak at the top and in a groove, and this is an extremely composed performance by her.
Yeah. And, you know, when the season started and she had some issues, you started to think, oh, you know, maybe age catching up with her, but not so. She's performed extremely well here in these last months, and you can see it etched on her face. And we talked about the right hand for Farias and how good it has been and how good it was in this fight. And there's the hook by her, but she'll sneak a right hand in here, right here. There it is. That pushes Denise back. And yet another one. She found a home for that punch and was able to land it continually in the second portion of the round.
TBL fans, the winner of round 4 by way of unanimous decision. From the LA Elite, Erica Farias.
All right, so the LA Elite.
The score, LA 4.
In an important matchup, off to a flying start, ahead 4-0. Can't do it any better than that. We'll see if they continue right after this. Has put big numbers together before. How long will it go on? Let's go back inside and find out.
Round 5 at welterweight, Houston, Oscar Trujillo. LA, Osvaldo Lopez.
All right, so Trujillo, as a professional outside TBL, 4-0 with 2 draws. Inside TBL, 0-7, trying to learn the format. We see a good number of this as fighters trying to find their footing in this new format.
And one of the things we can say, though, on behalf of Trujillo, is that 5 of his 7 losses came to Dizlan Ganza, Darian Castro, and Rahman Muhammad. combined record, TBL record of those three fighters is 68-15. So he's fought some tough competition that he's lost to.
So you go up to your matchmaker and say, "Don't you like me?"
Yeah, exactly. In this case, right, you fight who you have to fight.
What did I do to you? Okay, so Osvaldo Lopez lost 5 of his last 6. And so basically, no matter who you are in this fight, you're looking across the ring and saying, this is winnable for me.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, Lopez, who has 3 first-round KOs in his pro fights outside of TBL, has 1 stoppage in TBL, so he's got some power.
He's trying to load up to the body here. Good right hand by Lopez. Going for all of it here against Trujillo. Good uppercut by Trujillo, got it.
Tonight's going to be one of those nights. I'll tell you, no matter what the score, team score is or ends up being, it's clear everybody's coming out and they're standing in the pocket and wailing away. And it's going to create a fun night of boxing, as this round is already being.
Yeah, this is 1 minute of in your face. And who's got the better execution? And you can sense 2 different vantage points for Lopez. He's riled up by how well his team is doing. 4 wins in a row, off to a great start. That energizes every fighter down the line. And for Trujillo, you get the sense that he wants to change all that, and he's come out with a mission.
And you can see, you know, we talked about Trujillo being better than that 0-7 record. You know, he's 4-0 in regular pro boxing beyond TBL, and even his performances in TBL have been good enough. We mentioned all those decisions to really good fighters, so he's wanting to show that. And Osvaldo Lopez has been, even though his record isn't glossy, he's been solid in a lot of fights.
And that's really the beauty of the team element. You can go through a stretch of tough fights against, like I said, the top opponents in the division, but your coaches know that, you know, we put you back in a spot like this in a fight we need you to win, that you can get it for us. All right, there's a good right hand getting home from Trujillo. Up for grabs in the final 30 seconds. Good left hook and a right hand getting home by Lopez.
Lopez has really uncovered his jab in the last minute or so, and it's helped him there. He landed a lead right, but the Lopez jab has kind of emerged as a good weapon. There it is again.
Good left hook to the body. Now Lopez mixing it up, and this is the way you want to end it in front of the judges. Final seconds. It has been a good Lopez montage.
Stylistically, that Lopez changed that round because he started to move a little, use angles, and not just stand right in front of Trujillo. There's the jab from Lopez that we talked about when he was on the outside using it. Now on the inside, again, the right hand was there. A couple of beautiful right hands. Trujillo did good work on the inside as well in spots, especially when they were just standing in front of each other. But then when Lopez had the distance and showed a few more angles, he was more effective.
So doing what you were talking about, Lopez turning from 50 to 50 to 70-30.
From LA, Osvaldo Lopez.
And it's 5 for 5 for LA.
Round 6 at super welterweight. Houston, Solomon Colton. LA, Angel Munoz.
And this fast start from LA reminds us that they went into Dallas and swept the launch rounds. They are 3 points away from doing that again. Extraordinary to sweep the launch rounds. They came in with the same number of wins, exact same record, and to do that. So this team, and even against Vegas, started fast.
Yeah, and they ended up winning 30-8 against the Enforcers. This is one of the 3 Houston fighters making their debut in TBL is Solomon Colton, and right now he's struggling.
And here comes Munoz trying to take advantage of that inexperience. And what the idea is, if he's inexperienced, try to make him fall. And Munoz putting the pressure on. Referee is right there.
Well, Solomon in his last pro fight before this in February had a really good fight against Javad McDermott. It was a majority decision loss for him, but he fought very well. But here, he's being overwhelmed by Munoz, who has lots of power. He's got 2 knockdowns this year in his wins, and he is relentless.
And right now, Colton has to do something or it's over, and it is over. That is 4 points for LA. And what happens is, we talked about it earlier, the route to 4 points is, yeah, you get the knockdown by knockdown, or you put this type of pressure on, and you coach the referee to go in there and stop it, and you get 4.
Angel Munoz, a 23-year-old who has blossomed here in this season in TBL. He's got a 9-2 record outside of TBL, so he's a very talented young man, and boy, he is coming into his own. And look at him wail away against Solomon Colton, whose debut at TBL has just been ruined for him by Angel Munoz, and they're happy in the LA Corral. Why not?
Up 9-0, and you know, you're in that corner. If you don't fight back, referee can make the judgment call.
Cameron Frizzell waves off the run at 58 seconds of the 6th for your winner by KO victory. 4 points going to the LA Elites, Angel Munoz.
Well, we talked about that LA early lumber. 9-0 now.
7 at cruiserweight. Houston David Stevens, LA Juan Higuera.
Now a little pressure on Juan Higuera to keep it going for LA against David Stevens, who is 15-2 outside of TBL. Comes off a 10-round draw with Darius Fulgham back in November, and we'll get right to this in a second. But Sophia has an interview with Natalia Denise.
Thanks. All right, Natalia, we're still in the launch rounds. What has to be done to change the momentum of how these fights are going tonight?
I feel like we have to step up. Everybody from Houston is their hometown right now. Everybody's cheering for them. It's very loud. The energy is amazing, though. Like, I really like to fight in an environment like that. It keeps the fight going really fast. As you can see, everybody's throwing really hard tonight. So it's actually fun.
Well, thank you. Best of luck tonight. Thank you.
All right. 2 minutes, 10 seconds going to the wire on this one. It's been such a big start for LA. 9-0. Scenes of the Dallas blowout for them.
Yeah, and David Stevens doing his part to try and turn that around. He has done extremely well here in the first minute of this round. You know, he normally fights at 168 in pro boxing outside of TBL. He's all the way up at cruiserweight now in the TBL, and he's performed pretty well. 4-2 record this season in his debut season, and he's giving Higuera plenty to think about. And Higuera, who's just 1-8 this season, he's hoping to, you know, he came into this season, Higuera, with a 9-5 TBL record, but this season just has not gone his way.
His last win was against Luis Portuondo back on March 21st. He lost twice to Portuondo after that, and then Adrian Taylor and D'Angelo Leachman, so he just can't get over the top. Stevens had a split with Charles Pugh, which is very good company to get out of there with that 1-1.
Stevens has been very aggressive in this round. Higuera has tried to launch some of his own offense, but Stevens has, for the most part, been a little bit more effective, I think. Trying to put Houston on the board. Good body work. Both men doing good body work on the inside.
Again, trying to get in with his here. So if they trade body shots, then the judges have to try and decide which they thought was more effective. So we have 20 seconds for them to make their case. It's a good left hook as he backed away by Stevens.
Stevens really did well in the early part of this round. Higuera's come back a little bit in the second part, and there's again the body work by Higuera, but Stevens still landing the shoulder punches, although that was a really nice right hand that may have hurt Stevens.
Did Higuera dig himself out of the hole with that 4-punch combination? That's going to be interesting because this looked every bit like a Houston victory until the final few seconds.
Here's where Stevens came out right from the get-go, and he was, look at, he lands a couple jabs, a good straight right hand. He was all over Higuera. Another right hand landing, and continued the assault really through a lot of the round. There's some more good work by Stevens. And then, as you pointed out, right at the end of the round, Higuera made some good things happen, punctuated by the right hand and that jab when he was against the ropes.
TBL fans, the winner of round 7 by way of split decision from the LA Elite, Juan Higuera.
I guess the judges like 20 seconds instead of 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Did they like that? And now all of a sudden, Jonathan Rice has a chance to give LA a sweep of the launch rounds for the second time in 3 weeks.
That's pretty extraordinary.
And even in the loss to Vegas, they fought well early.
Yeah.
In that. This is a very good launch round team. So here we go, round 8. 10-0 in favor of LA.
And Nguyen giving away a lot of weight, a lot of height, a lot of reach to Jonathan Rice.
Jonathan Rice 5-3 off of a split decision loss. He started 4-0. So it got the blazing start, and then he's labored a little bit. There you get a look at some of his profile. His opponent, 1-0 outside TBL. It was a first-round TKO, so used to the fast start. But look at all you have to give away here when you're facing Jonathan Rice. I mean, sometimes you say a guy looks like he's 1 weight class down. It looks like he's giving away 2 weight classes here. That's what happens when you are in the 205 plus category. Right hand by Rice. So for LA, team that wanted to put a nail on its final bid for a playoff spot to make sure is doing everything right. And here is Jonathan Rice, maybe hinting at the possibility for more as he's hurt his opponent. Stalking in close range here. Rice has an excellent opportunity for bonus points.
Well, we knew coming in Nguyen, a very small heavyweight, and might face this dilemma against Rice, who is a power puncher, has got a knockout this year, and could have had Neki Aguilera out early in the season. Well, there it goes.
There's the big right hand. And is this going to be 4? It's going to be hard to get up. To his credit, he is, and there's still about a minute for Rice to work with. Got to answer the referee. Referee will take a good look in the eyes. Maybe you don't even have to do too much. That's it, exactly. Just put the pressure on. You look in the eyes of the Houston fighter, not there. And how could you get a more definitive launch round assault than 14-0?
Extraordinary with 2 stoppages during the course of these launch rounds, and Rice got him in trouble. Again, Nguyen, a smaller heavyweight who was coming in here with a big disadvantage in terms of power and other physical attributes. And then the second knockdown, or not the second knockdown, but when the stoppage happened, after Rice got him in trouble again. And so Jonathan Rice does what he didn't do early in the season against Aguilera.
Referee in charge, Cameron Frizzell, waves off the 8th round at 2 minutes, 17 seconds for your winner by knockout. 4 points going to the LA Elite, Jonathan Rice.
So one of the best launch rounds maybe in TBL history, as LA just rolls over Houston at the beginning. Can Houston come back to make this a contest? We're going to see as we head into the middle rounds. First, let's hear from Dave Bontempo what's coming up on TBL.
Thanks, Al. We're enjoying the excitement of this. A lot to come straight ahead. We've got another edition of Dave's Blue Collar Corner. Who are the honorees this week? We will soon find out. And then we will close out the week in dynamic fashion. 2 playoff-bound teams, the Phoenix Fury and the Las Vegas Hustle. They have a furious rival whenever they come together. It will be must-watch. Phoenix versus Vegas. We've got you covered all season long on Team Boxing League, with both the regular season and the playoffs. So glad to have you with us.
We are back in Long Beach, where LA is dominating 14-0. It's time for another edition of Dave's Blue Collar Corner in the TBL. Well, I'm here with my favorite construction worker, Dave Bontempo. Dave, tell everybody, what's the origin of the Blue Collar Corner?
Well, you know, Al, I wanted to salute all the hard-working efforts by the TBL personnel who overcome obstacles and then thrive. Whether you're on a losing streak, you make an adjustment, then you're at the top of your game. The league is filled with those people. Plus, Jason Moon, our producer, found this, and my father had a career in construction. Hector Bontempo was a business agent and a mason. He would have been very proud to see you and I, you know him, to do all of this and to watch Team Boxing League, so it's perfect.
And is there any specific theme for this edition?
Yeah, there really is. The originals, people who have started out from season 1 and have overcome a lot and thrived in this league. Let's start with Adrian Taylor and go to the highlights of this fine performer for the San Antonio Snipers. Yeah, that 15-18 mark he had was against the heavyweights. He also had a 3-6 mark. He had the intelligence to come down a little bit in weight, and all of a sudden, he has been on a tear. He has been on fire this year, getting knockouts, getting decisions, and becoming a force for the San Antonio team as that club closes in on a playoff berth. You know, as the season winds down, you want to know who can you count on? Well, when you see power like that from a big guy who came down, you have to love what he does. He also got a clutch victory to preserve a tie for this team against Houston.
And another addition to your list, a woman who is definitely a blue-collar worker, Florencio Britos from the Las Vegas team.
Yeah, I love the fact that she had a great start to her career, won 12 in a row. Then there was a tough spot of 8 losses consecutively to top names in the 140-pound division. So what does she do? She comes down, and she didn't take on little names. She took on Erica Sanchez. She took on Lizette Lopez, fighters who were 50 and 21. She broke an 8-fight win streak for Erica Sanchez, a 7-fight win streak for Lizette Lopez. So there was an excellent move for her to come down and do great work for her team and become a leader. I love the fact that she was able to shake off what was happening in the middle of her TBL career, make the adjustments, and then become the star that she's been.
Yeah, absolutely. Great work by her. And even though the Dallas Enforcers haven't had the greatest season, Malik Lark has really been important to them.
He has, and he's become one of their top fighters this year with 8 victories. And this is a guy, it wasn't a particular move. It was just somebody coming into his own and finding some streaks. Recently, we saw him get a knockdown. He's gotten extra points for the Dallas team. He's gotten them in important places. So even though Dallas has had a rough season, this is a bright spot that they are going to build their hopes around going forward. And they might look at stuff like this. He gets a knockdown, and look at the spirit after he lands the big shot. They will rally around this. Somebody happy to be doing his thing, happy to electrify his teammates, and happy to help them move forward. All right. Break is over. The foreman says no more. Hey, I think it's time to get some more coffee, though, now.
I believe it is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another meeting about that. Now, let's take a look at this phenomenal launch rounds idea for the Los Angeles team 2 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it really extraordinary. Yes, they got a couple of close decisions, but, man, they were dominant. And even though a couple of the Houston fighters fought very well and couldn't get over the hump, L.A. just extraordinary. And you mentioned they're a very good launch round team anyway, but this was over the top.
This might be the best one. Now, what do you do when you have a veteran going against a relative newcomer? You go right for it, and that is what LA was able to do with Angel Munoz, coming in against an inexperienced opponent. Keep the pressure on and coax the referee into doing this. That's for the easy way. We mentioned earlier that a lot of fighters are able to do that, and Munoz did that for an LA team that is just ecstatic.
And Jonathan Rice, a big, powerful heavyweight, there you see him for LA, faced Mike Nguyen, who has been fighting right around 200 pounds as a pro outside of TBL. And boy, he just was no match in terms of power and physical attributes to Jonathan Rice. And Rice stopped him for his 2nd stoppage win of the season.
All right, so that is the launch rounds, and into the middle rounds, of course, the round to watch, and we will go to round number 11.
Yeah, round number 11, lightweights with left-hander Manuel Sangroni, who's been a very solid fighter for Houston with a 5-5 record and gotten them some good wins, taking on Keith Hunter, who was a fringe contender and has been in boxing outside of TBL, and now he's just started back in the TBL again after a 2-year layoff. We'll see how he does.
Is this an historic night for LA? Let's find out. Let's go back inside, and here is Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the middle rounds between Houston and LA. Round 9 at featherweight, Houston, Denise Moran. LA, Lizette Lopez.
All right, Moran and Lopez. Lopez, one of the elite performers on this team in recent weeks. She's an original too, 10-2. Also gave the only loss of the season to the high-rising Zaria Cottrell from San Antonio.
And Denise Moran, who is a 37-year-old former U.S. National Amateur Champion in 2020, is 3-1 in the pro world outside of TBL, making her debut tonight. And I announced her fight against Ashlyn Lozado in the pro ranks, a lefty just like Lopez. And she didn't win that one, but performed well. And you see Lopez's glittering record this year.
In an excellent division. A lot of attention has been brought to all the talented women here. And it's going to be good to watch them evolve and go into the playoffs and become very significant parts of their team. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you in what's been an historic night so far for LA.
Yeah, really extraordinary. You know, Moran is she comes forward. She will keep coming until you stop her. And Lopez, of course, would like to use her jab and the height and reach advantage that she has and kind of stop that momentum. And she is landing some good counter punches, including that straight left hand against Moran.
Good right hands all the way through. And she's trying to cut off the ring here is Moran, and the veteran Lopez fighting well off the ropes.
And really landing counterpunch. You know, Denise Moran is kind of similar to Erica Sanchez in her style and her stature, but right now she's defensively not being responsible enough as she comes in, and Lopez is really nailing her with a lot of good counterpunches.
Houston trying to get on the board. It's been a tall task so far. But we thought 30 was an unbelievable number for LA against Dallas. And there's time to get more. And this is a team, as you say, on their best night, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And part of the reason is because these women, I mentioned a 24-6 record they have combined, all the women performing tonight this season. They win, and it really helps out their team. And Lopez is having an excellent round here.
This is the veterans fighting up to their capabilities. Every now and then, LA gives you one of those performances that says, don't forget about us when you start handicapping favorites in the Mega Brawl. And it was the same last year. They were just under that Vegas radar.
Yeah. Well, the right hook of Lopez has caused a big welt on the cheek of Moran. And Moran getting a nice right hand, and she's just not been able to get in range to throw those shots. And she has taken a lot of punches in this round. Another superb performance by Lisette Lopez, and a tough night, a debut for Denise Moran. And Moran coming forward as is her wont, but Lopez counterpunching, and that right hook of Lopez, and not every southpaw has a good right hook. It was excellent.
TBL fans, the winner of round 9 by way of unanimous decision. From the LA Elite, Lisette Lopez.
Solid performance. Chalk up another W for her
Round
and for the team.
Featherweight, Houston, Kenneth Taylor. LA, Sean Brewer.
And this was a good scrap from back in round 2. Won by LA, but Taylor gave an account of himself.
He did. When the match was on the inside, he was able to get a little bit of work done, but Hunter, especially from the outside, really controlled things. And Hunter did a lot of,
Brewer, who's now up in the, Brewer got himself into the honor roll ranking.
Yeah, he did.
That victory.
Yeah, he really did, and Brewer did good work on the inside as well in that last encounter.
And that graphic shows a very nice and evolving division. So Jay Sean Wallace there, very stylish southpaw who's coming into his own, and there's a good group here in this division.
Yeah, it's an emerging division for the men. And it's kind of grown as the season has gone on. So if you're Kenneth Taylor, what do you do to try and change? Now, he got in a nice left hook there, and he was able to do some good offensive work in their first encounter. So he has to build on that if he can. And he's trying to jab his way in where he can do some solid work on the inside, which he did in spots in the last round.
We talked about Brewer on his hot streak is doing all of the little things. He's keeping his position. He's jabbing smartly, not taking unnecessary chances. This has been the best boxing we've seen from him in quite some time.
Yeah, and I mean, he has continued, you know, I mean, with a 9-2 record now this year. He's been a staple for LA and really has been very consistent in his efforts. Oh, nice right hand by Brewer as Taylor's coming in. I mentioned that Taylor wants to try and jab his way in an attack, but he's taking some punches as he does that.
And there's a good right hand from Taylor that did get in as he tries to stand close to Brewer and get his best work done.
Taylor has a pretty good overhand right, and that was what we saw a moment ago. He tries it again. It just glances off the head of Sean Brewer. We're reaching a point in this match where nobody wants to be the first LA fighter to lose.
No, and there's good-natured pressure that builds up in that in a way, and the same way that the optimism spreads like wildfire across that bench. Like, look at us tonight collectively.
You know, Taylor has fought really well in this round. I don't know if it's enough for him to win, though, because Brewer is landing some good shots as well. And you gotta like the fire of Kenneth Taylor. He has come out here really to try and test Sean Brewer, and he did. They both fought well.
Yeah, he fought. Taylor put up a little bit more than he did the first fight, but so did Brewer. So they both stepped their game up.
Brewer taking that big right hand from, Taylor taking the big right hand from Brewer. Brewer was able to land some of those really good straight right hands. Kenneth Taylor had his moments as well. We'll see what the judges say.
TBL fans, the winner of round 10 by way of split decision from the LA Elite, Sean Brewer.
All right, 16, and now it's...
Ladies and gentlemen, prior to round 11, TBL would like to extend our heartfelt condolences, thoughts and prayers to the victims affected by the horrific earthquake in Venezuela. At this time, TBL asks that we all pause for a moment of silence for the victims in Venezuela. May they rest in peace. Round 11 at lightweight, Houston Manuela Sangroni, LA Keith Hunter.
Well, if you're Houston, this is one of the fights you say we've got a pretty good shot. Sangroni is 5-5 in TBL. Hunter's 4-4, and no fights in the circuit in 2024 and 2025. Then he split his first couple fights back.
Sangroni had his last pro fight outside of TBL on May 16th when he beat Romeo Orozco. And his last time out in TBL, he split, winning against James Pearson, losing to Joaquin Camberos.
Sangroni is like right in your face. This is what you're going to get. So he'll be pressuring Hunter, and basically Hunter can nail him with that uppercut. He's got the height and reach for it.
Yeah, Sangroni's an attacker, and Hunter, a very skilled boxer who in 2020, after a showbox win over Sanjarbek Rachmanov, he was ready to be a contender, and everyone thought he was going to really move ahead, and a couple losses kind of derailed that. And now he's back in TBL, as you mentioned, after a layoff, and facing the ever-aggressive Sangroni.
Sangroni, we've seen him get some good early season. We saw him get doubles against Adonis Wilkins and Sean Bates. So when he's had good nights, he's often been able to put a couple wins together. And no absence of aggression. You look for footage from Sangroni, you see him doing the same thing every time.
Yes, and I'll tell you, he's been able to cut the distance and get past the long jab of Hunter for the most part in this round. He's keeping a very high guard as he comes in, and then there comes the outburst of punches. Not everything landing there, but that's the way he's approached this. Instead of jabbing his way, he's using a high guard to kind of march in, and it's mostly worked.
Yeah, there has to be an inexpensive way to do it.
And giving head movement as he comes in as well. So that part is important also.
Angles, the head, but look at all the work you have to do to get to a taller fighter. You have to love that look when they get up close of what Sangroni is trying to accomplish.
Hunter has not been active. There's a nice uppercut. Hunter's been looking for that uppercut the whole round. And he got a nice one in.
That Sangroni has smothered him often. And if you're on the Houston bench, you might very well think you got your first point.
Yeah, maybe. Hunter's having a very good end of the round. He landed some really good left hooks. But yes, this could easily be the first win for Houston. A close fight, but Sangroni was the aggressor most of the time. And you can see he's really feeling that he might have done it. On the inside, here's Sangroni swarming, and Hunter trying to land shots on the inside. Good left hand by Sangroni as he was coming in. That was that uppercut from Hunter with about 25 seconds left in the round. That was a superb punch by him.
TBL fans, the winner of round 11 by way of unanimous decision. From the LA Elite, King Hunter.
Well, that was Houston's best performance, and they don't get anything. So it's 17
round
to
12
nothing.
and lightweight, Houston, Jaden Alpo, LA, Jose Pablo Rodriguez.
I think that final output by Hunter, and Hunter did do some good work in parts of the round, but that may have swayed the judges.
And the uppercuts at the end, which were effective shots for him. Okay, so Alpo, 19 from Port Arthur, Texas. Lost 4 of his last 5. Last winner was a decision over Michael Bracamontes. Last outing was 2 losses. All right, Sophia is standing by with Erica Sanchez. Go ahead.
Erica, you started the night out for us, and something your coach said at the beginning of the night is keep an eye out for Erica. What do you think is the key? He said you would start things off for us, and you guys have kept that momentum going on a winning streak. How do you remain calm, but with focus on the task at hand?
You know what? We're all confident in each other, and, you know, we had a conversation in the back, you know, where we just got to get out there and do what we do best. So I think it's all just like believing in each other, you know.
And of course, LA showing off here at home. How good does it feel to have friends and family cheering you on?
Oh, it feels great. I love being home. I love the events here at Thunder Studios. It's like no other. So, yeah.
Thanks, Erica. Back to you guys.
Erica Sanchez getting a string started that has now reached 17 for LA. And you think, is that the longest blowout? Not yet. Not even this year. As we saw 20-0 for LA over Dallas just a few weeks back.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. And
you think of everything you have to do to win that many.
And, you know, Alpo and Rodriguez gave us a really good match the first time, and they're doing it again. They're both on the inside, really landing some good, effective punches. Rodriguez got the nod, of course. Alpo is trying to get some offense working, but boy, Rodriguez doing good work on the inside again, as he did in their first encounter.
Toe-to-toe, very good action by both.
Alpo was one of the fighters in the lunch rounds that we did well, but just wasn't enough to win. And it's looking similar now because you see that good work from Rodriguez on the inside. And that's territory where Alpo can do well. And there's the hook. Alpo, I mentioned earlier how good that hook is for Alpo. When he gets it going, it's powerful, and he knocked down Saya with that left hook in TBL earlier in the season.
He's been trying to get to the big hook here. Right now, just with the hook, their arms hooking with each other. Final seconds as they try to make their final statements to the judges. But work here by Alpo.
Good combination by Alpo, and as he tries, as you said, to make a final statement, and he found a home for both the right hand and the hook in the last 25 seconds of the round, but wasn't enough to overcome what Rodriguez had done previous to that. I'll tell you, you know, this is a blowout, but there have been some great rounds, and this round is one of them. There's the right hand by Alpo, and there's Rodriguez working well on the inside, landing uppercuts and rights to the body, and a little chopping right hand in there. He did good work on the inside. Right at the end, Alpo had a rush.
Everybody has come to fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 12 by way of split decision from the Houston Hitmen, Jaden Alpo.
All right, so a point for Houston, breaking the streak.
TBL fans. TBL fans support manufacturing.
So, a great start for LA. Houston gets on the board. We'll be back with more after this.
really think it's interesting that we've had, you know, that obviously LA is right now running away with this. But in these individual encounters, we've seen some very, very close and exciting rounds, which is part of, I think, of what makes it interesting with TBL, because you can have a team score that is one thing, but meanwhile you're seeing competitive fights.
Fighters maintaining the fight to stay on the roster for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Also to be considered for the All-Star team, which is an incentive for them. So yeah, everybody around the league is looking. Plus, you've been looking forward to this all week. You've been thinking about it. You've been preparing. And you know, we have seen the level of action has been quite good. We have a few candidates for round of the night.
Man, and this is one of them. Trujillo and Cholet just going after it, standing in the pocket and trading, and we've seen that so much tonight. Trujillo has faced two very good opponents, and man, he has held his own against them, whatever the outcome. And he has got Cholet against the ropes and landing some pretty good shots. Cholet has done great offensive work as well in this round.
Yeah, this has been an ideal tailor-made matchup for one another. Come right in, walk to each other. Everybody loves to walk in sluggers, except the coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, you're getting ready for this, and the beautiful thing too is to continue to mix up big left hook, big right hand. As fans, you develop followings for certain fighters, regardless of what teams they're on, and you look forward to their matches.
I'll tell you what, the combination work by Cholet in that match was extraordinary, as was Trujillo's. They both put their punches together very well, and that exchange in the last 25 or 30 seconds that may have produced that cut over Cholet's eye was really extraordinary. And here we see some of the you know, the hand speed. Look at Cholet going to town with those combinations, and Trujillo coming back. I mean, those are great combos by these two fighters. That's a lot of hand speed right there.
These guys felt like they were late for an appointment.
Yeah, I mean, that was just extraordinary.
And there's the bravery that the fighters have. Nasty cut, but he did get through this. Yet that could be a layoff.
TBL fans, the winner of round 13 by way of split decision from the LA Elite, HOU. Round 14 at middleweight, Houston, Damian Lescalelli. LA, Terrell Gausha.
All right, so Lescalelli and Terrell Gausha will get ready to go. We're off to the races here, and as these fighters get started, Sophia has a guest at ringside.
Yes, I'm here with Houston's very own David Stevens. Now, we saw you in the 7th round against Juan Higuera, going again in rounds 18. How important is it to keep the momentum going with your team? We just saw your teammate Jaden score a point. How important is it to keep cheering on your team?
It's real important. It's real important. We got to keep this momentum going. My boy Damian's in there right now. My arm hurts a little bit. I think that's why I slowed down on throwing it, but I'm resting now. Hopefully get back in there and let's turn this shit around. But it's real important. And we getting it. We got the back end now. We got better shit in the back end for y'all.
Now, you guys are the visiting team. Does that give you guys fire to want to outperform the LA Elite?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes us know we can't make this shit close because they don't want to give us nothing.
Thanks, David. Back to you guys.
All right, 1 minute in to round 14, and like many others, about.
Yeah, Damian Lescalelli is coming to box. I'll tell you what, he's battling away, as is his opponent. And Terrell Gachet, you know, he made his debut on last week on TBL against Adriel Holmes Jr. And boy, it could have gone worse. He lost 2 times and twice was sent down, even though they were flash knockdowns. So it was not a good beginning for him, and he's going to try and do better this time. Descal is really coming forward and being very aggressive in this fight.
He's debuting here against Gachet, who is almost debuting. He's 0-2. Of course, all those fights we remember with Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, who, ironically, he would basically have a preview because Trout coached this Houston team last year with different eras.
And yeah, you know, his fight with Tim Tszyu, and he's been a top contender. Descal has not fought since 2023. A long layoff coming in. That was when his last pro fight was. He is from Cuba, home in Miami, and we have a couple of Cuban boxers in the TBO, I think.
Yeah, and they have really populated very well in 2 cities. 2 teams that will be very serious with Miami and Vegas, and that's one of the big factors that you look at. Descal has fought very well. Gachet, you have to say, he's fighting for his playoff roster spot.
Yeah, I think you're right. With all the credentials he has, you know, it's just hasn't, so far, he hasn't caught fire here, and I don't know about this one. This was a close one, but Descal was, you know, pretty aggressive in spots in that round. He is, by the way, 6-0 as a pro, though I mentioned he hasn't fought for a while outside of TBL.
TBL fans, the winner of round 14 by way of split decision from Houston, Damian Lascalali.
All right, so Houston gets on the board again, gets a couple going.
Round 15 will be contested in the super middleweight division. For the Houston Hitmen, it is Gavin Wendell Thorne. He will meet from the LA Elite, Raul Solomon.
So Devin Thorne, 4-8 in the TBL, but 3-1 recently. Had a split with Solomon Duran on June 7th. And going up here against Raul Solomon, 20-10 in the TBL. Lost 2 to Bartiel on April 12th. That we saw that he is, Bartiel, a special talent for San Antonio. So.
And Solomon, with that 4 points that he got he got 4 points over Edward Ortiz in June 6th with that TKO. It's been a roller coaster ride for Thorne. 3-fight win streak and a 6-fight loss streak this season. It's been up and down, kind of like the Houston season in microcosm. Raul Solomon has some pop in his punches. Overall 20-10 in the TBL over the course of now his third season in the league. Solomon's almost always a very aggressive fighter, and you see him coming forward, trying to pin Thorne on the ropes. Thorne is a more tactical fighter.
Good jab here by Solomon. Thorne trying to work on the inside. Good jab by Thorne as he tries to move. And Solomon with 2 shots, 2 more, and working on the middle. The uppercut, cutting off the ring, is Solomon. Then a good stiff jab gets home. And Thornton is trying to grab his way out of the ropes position, and it worked for him that time.
You know, Solomon's been busy with his TBL fights. In his last pro fight outside of TBL, he lost a 10-round decision to Daniel Blancos, and he's a top guy outside of TBL. 16-4 record, 14 KOs, and he's flashed that power in the TBL, as I mentioned.
Good right hand there by Solomon.
Thorne, you know, Devin Thorne, there was a nice jab there.
Yeah.
Devin Thorne has got a really good right hand when he gets it going, but sometimes he just doesn't throw that punch enough. And given the fact his jab's been so effective, you would think that might follow more often.
Yeah. And here is Solomon capitalizing on the lack of punches coming back.
And
even though he ate one.
There was the right hand by Thorne. Look at, there it is again. He's got a quick, good right hand when he throws it.
Solomon muscling Thorne back. So Solomon has been on the attack and Thorne countering.
Yeah, and Thorne is what is that right again? Boy, as soon as I said he had a good right, he woke up, didn't he?
He's got an earpiece.
Apparently, yeah. Those nice right hands by Thorne in the last 40 seconds may have helped him here. I don't know if it's enough because Solomon did a lot of good aggression during most of that round. Here's Solomon coming forward. Thorne spending a lot of time against the ropes, and not everything landing that Solomon is throwing, but he did do well. There, you see the Thorne right hand. That was an earlier sign of that punch coming in, and then later in the round, more of them would land.
TBL fans, the winner of round 15 by way of unanimous decision from the LA Elite, HOU Solomon. Ladies and gentlemen, round 16, our ringside physician has deemed Mike Nguyen unable to participate in the round. Therefore, your winner, 4 points being awarded to the LA Elite, Jonathan Rice. That'll conclude.
Jonathan Rice will get that walkover by virtue of what he did earlier, and then his opponent unable to continue. So LA off to the races. Still some money round action straight ahead. It's been quite a night for the LA Elite, 23-2. This is a team that when they put it together, they're as good as anybody in the league. And tonight it's against the Houston Hitmen. So as they pull through here, they have to be wondering, can we do this in the postseason? Because now it's pretty much all but certain that the LA team will be in the playoff scene. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. And Al, there's just so many thoughts about what could possibly be coming for LA when you see a performance like this on the heels of what we saw against Dallas a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and you know, they scored those 30 points against Dallas, and now here they're sitting on 23. With all of the money rounds left to go, it is highly conceivable they could get past that 30-point mark and, yes, further whet the appetite for their fans and for them about what could happen in the playoffs.
Yes, L.A. doing something that may be unprecedented in league history, sweeping the launch rounds twice in one season. Well, how did we get here? Let's tell you a highlight story. And it started for L.A. all night, but in the launch rounds, the third round, which was Jaden Alpo against Jose Rodriguez. And this was an excellent scrap. It was the first of their two tonight, and they just went at it toe-to-toe. No weaknesses, just back and forth, and Rodriguez got that one to make it 3-0 LA at that point.
Yeah, and then in round 4, Erica Farias, the 41-year-old former 3-time world champion in women's boxing, against the more experienced Natalia Denise, just controlled the action and got yet another win for L.A.
So it came to round 6, and this is where we started to see more of the power as Angel Munoz against an inexperienced opponent. What do? You test him, see if you can get him out of there early, and that's exactly what he did. And that's the textbook way you do it. You put so much pressure on, the referee steps in for the safety of the fighter. 4 points, and that just electrified that LA corral.
Then the big heavyweight for LA, Jonathan Rice, took on a smaller man in Mike Nguyen, who had not fought in the TBL before, and boy, his debut was a disastrous one for him. Rice's power was just too much for him. Would send him down and then end the fight as the referee stopped the action. Big 4-point win for Rice.
And it also would lead to the scratch of round 16. Well, let's go down about 100 pounds. And here is Lizette Lopez after we saw Jonathan Rice. Lizette Lopez has been a real good highlight performer all season long for LA. And this was a good matchup with Denise Moran, but she just had too much experience.
And you know, even though it's been a blowout for LA, we've pointed out that we've had some great individual rounds. One of those was in round 13 when Jose Chalet for LA took on Jaden Alpo. And Alpo, who had lost earlier to a different opponent, he came fighting and he created that cut, but it was Chalet that got the win for LA in what was a terrific round of boxing.
Let's talk about some of the things that exist outside the score sheet right now, both for Houston and yeah, perhaps even for LA, but especially for any team that may not make the playoffs. You know, in the postseason, you have the All-Star game. It's the last one of the year. That's an incentive just like everything else. So regardless of what's happening, regardless of the team score, if your team's out of it, you're still in contention for something.
Yeah, and that speaks to why all of these matches are important to all these fighters, not just personal pride, but things like the All-Star game and like putting points on the board for your team if you get into a playoff situation where the point differential is big. And for these LA fighters now, as they head into the money rounds, they're thinking to themselves, playoffs? Can I position myself to be one of the main people in the playoffs, get into the money rounds, have my coaches have that kind of confidence in me? And the way they're all performing, they're all making a good case.
And they're all talking to each other saying, do you see what we did against Dallas? Did you see what we did against Houston? Maybe we can do that against the better teams in the league where they've come up just a little short. What about our round to watch here in the money rounds?
Well, round number 17 is the round that we're looking for. And picked it because honestly, we didn't think this thing was going to be as much out of hand, but it was a great matchup. The first time they fought, Julie Gallegos, a young 19-year-old who's a very good fighter, took on Erica Sanchez in our opening match back a long way when this was still close. And I'll tell you what, they really put on a great round. So looking forward to seeing it again.
It was a war once. We think it will be a war again. Let's take it back inside and start the money rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin the money rounds between the Houston Hitmen and LA Elite. Your judges for the money rounds are Dr. Lou Moret, Jerry Cantu, and Tiffany Clinton. Your timekeeper for the money rounds is Lorona Ganaway. Your ringside physicians presently at ringside are Dr. Tariq Khan, Herman Hicks, and Cynthia Viper, along with Raul Ruiz. Round 17 at featherweight, Houston Julia Gallegos, LA Erica Sanchez.
All right, they left nothing to chance. Gave it all out to start this fight. Night tonight, let's see how they do in the rematch 16 rounds later.
And you mentioned all-star team consideration. Well, Erica Sanchez is sitting there right now. She's moved down to this division and had a fantastic year, and now is looking for yet another win. So she wants to get that win. As you see, 10-1 with her record, and so she would like to add another win to her total. And for Gallegos, who's now 2-1 in her early period in this elite, she'd like to get another win. And man, they're going at it just like they did in the first round. They fought each other. Look
Big shot there by Sanchez, and Gallegos has hers as well. Good hand speed, good punch volume. Couple of shots by Sanchez, a nice left hook by Gallegos.
You know, you can see the right hand getting in by Gallegos, the hooks by Sanchez. It's, you know, if Gallegos, hasn't been able to hurt Sanchez. If she could get her to respect her punching power, she could back her up a little bit. She's landing good right hands and uppercuts.
Yeah. We don't see Erica Sanchez move back.
No, very seldom.
You look at the highlights and you're seeing all this is terrific body work here. She is a terrific body shot expert. Leans into everything. Gets full extension. There's another example of it.
Yeah, and that loss to Britos, it was Britos, right? That she lost to.
Yeah.
That was when you could feel her not attacking quite as much like she is now. But against everybody else, and look at her landing those overhand rights against Gallegos. Against everybody else, she just keeps coming. And Gallegos throwing some great counter punches here as well.
You know, you come down to 14 pounds and it doesn't feel the same to get hit by a 126-pounder.
No.
And she's coming in with the power that she's had, fought up at 140. And this is just quite a spectacle. Now, but if you're scouting her, if you're going to fight against her in the Megan Boys, I'm going to try to put in somebody in who can jam.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, and Britos was able to keep her at bay with the jab. And, you know, this fight also shows us the potential for Julie Gallegos, both here and in the professional world beyond TBL. She's a 19-year-old with oodles of talent, and, boy, she could put together some offense. The problem is you're facing this machine coming forward that just never stops.
Never rests, nonstop. 3 minutes, no break, and straight at you. And if you don't land something, you just eat more leather. And Sanchez just continues to pound away.
And look at the shots that Gallegos is landing. It's not like she's not landing punches. Look at that beautiful left hook. It just doesn't stop Sanchez. And I'll tell you, that round was as good as the other one.
Yeah, rounds of the night.
Yeah. really extraordinary work by both women. And yes, Gallegos was against the ropes a lot. She got nailed with that right hand and the hook, but she's landing lots of punches on her own. Look at the good combination by Gallegos. And then the jab. And, you know, she was able to nail Sanchez coming up, but Sanchez kept coming and throwing an extraordinary number of punches, as she always does.
All right, I would call this 6 minutes of bliss.
Team Boxing League fans,
Anybody
the
treated
winner
to that.
of round 17 by way of unanimous decision. From the LA Elite, Erica Sanchez.
All right, 2 terrific performances
Ladies
by
and gentlemen,
the 2
our
women.
ringside physicians have deemed David Stevens unable to compete for the Houston Hitman for round 18. Therefore, your winner of the round, 4 points being awarded to the LA Elites, Juan Higuera. Round 19, our ringside physicians have claimed that Solomon Colton is unable to resume competition. Therefore, your winner of round 19 by way of, and 4 points going to the LA Elite, Angel Munoz. Round 20 at super lightweight, Houston, Natalia Denise. Shelby from LA, Erica Farias.
All right, Denise and Farias going at it. Second time, Farias won the opener. That was way back in round 4.
And Farias was able to land the right hand a lot during that first round. And Denise giving her more movement than she did in the first match. Trying to maybe see if she can use some angles and hit Farias. But Farias, the 41-year-old with just tons and tons of boxing experience, as who has fought the best in the world. She's been in the ring with Sandy Ryan, Katie Taylor, Jessica McCaskill, Cecilia Baracus, Mikhail Meyer. I mean, the who's who of women's boxing of 2 generations, right? So she's been in against the best.
And you see that poise and maturity in this platform here. Like, she knows that you have 1 minute to work with, but the inner clock is good for her. She knows when to step it up.
And you know, you're looking forward to the playoffs, and you know Lizette Lopez and Sanchez, they've put together gaudy seasons with big wins. Now a 6-win season for Farias, who got off to a little bit of a slow start, but now is finding her groove. In the playoffs, you know, the pressure isn't on her to even deliver 2 wins. If she could just get 1 win against somebody in the playoffs, it could help. And, you know, she's getting wins.
And she's in that groove right now.
Yeah.
She's able to carry that forward.
Yeah, if you have 3 women that are producing wins for you in a playoff situation, you're in pretty good shape. And right now, she's continuing the pressure against Denise. Denise has done virtually nothing offensively.
Coaches will tell you that the big things they look for are the women in the postseason, heavyweights.
Yeah.
Another big one. Women in the heavyweights are where they figure that the most separation could be and where most of the points could come as an edge. They feel that in many of these other weight classes with the men, there's not as much separation.
Yeah,
so
that's
women and
really interesting. Yeah, that's intriguing, and it makes perfect sense.
And that's why we see teams picking up, giving all kinds of heavyweights a chance during the season. We're seeing teams pick up women and seeing if they can deliver for them and get hot at the right time for them.
Yeah, Farias has had a very good round here, and she's looking for extra points right now. Well, the round ended on her when she was trying, but another excellent performance. There will not be a loss tonight among the women for LA. And here's Farias. There's the right hand that we talked about, that she landed so much in the first encounter between her and Denise, and she did it again. And this round and landed some really good combinations, especially the sequence at the end of the round, where she had Denise in the corner and was really wailing away against her.
All right, so it looks like this will be point number 33.
The winner of
LA.
round 20 by way of unanimous decision from the LA Elite, Erica Farias.
All right, so big night for the Ericas. Erica Sanchez, Erica
We would like
Farias.
to thank our
Big night
fine
for
sponsors,
LA.
Climax Moonshine,
This
Fire
is
number
one
32.
they're going to want to replay over and over. Got a little bit of action left to go, but it's a night to remember for the LA Elite, and we'll continue to show it after this. What a night it is to be a fan of the LA Elite. Take a look at Venice, 33-2. Historic night for the LA Elite. Dave Bontempo and Al Bernstein with you. We have this little pause in the action to consider a little bit of context and then a little bit of speculation about what we might see with this team. Remember we said this was a must-win for LA. Well, they took care of that pretty quickly. But we're seeing things here. You wonder about the team chemistry building based on the 2 sweeps of the launch rounds in 3 weeks, and based on what the teammates say to each other and what the team fever is and how they're going to build on this.
You know, I think one of the keys here is that we're seeing a couple fighters for LA who have been building in the last 4 or 5 times out. Angel Munoz is one, Sean Brewer is another, and they're starting to create a core in there like the Vegas team has, like the Miami team has, and the Philly team has, where you look at some of that core and you say, they're going to produce a bunch of victories for me. And that's some of what we're seeing here tonight. When we came into the money rounds, 23 points for LA, and we said, could they get more than 30? They are over that, and they have 4 fights left to build on it.
All right, so LA is going to be dangerous for the rest of tonight. However, they're just going to celebrate and enjoy the last few rounds of the contest. Let's get inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 21 will be in the featherweight division. For the Houston, it'll be Denise Moran. For LA, Lisette Lopez. When the bell sounds, your referee in charge of the action here at round 21 will be Rudy Barragan.
Won their first encounter tonight. So let's see if she's able to make it a double against Moran.
Yeah, Moran's style is such that it kind of plays to some of Lisette Lopez's strengths. You know, Moran is somebody that comes forward. She's very offensive with a few defensive liabilities, even though she's an amateur champion. And Lisette Lopez is a very good, straight, precise counterpuncher, and that is what she did to Moran in the first encounter between them.
All right, this magical night for LA. Coach Manny Robles will share his thoughts now with us via Sophia. Go ahead, Sophia.
All right, Manny, how important is it to stay disciplined even in these last money rounds?
Always important. Not losing control of the tempo. We can't allow the Houston to gain any type of momentum. I don't care if it's the first or the middle or the last round. We got to keep winning. We got to keep piling up those points.
Now, you told me that the game plan was just to take it round by round. What else have you been telling your fighters in between the rounds?
Stay motivated. Don't get lazy. Stay motivated and just go win me every round. Every round. At the end of the day, this is still an individual sport, so just go out there and win.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
All right, so Manny Robles still has, I guess, his emotional foot on the pedal still.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot to be said for that. As you pointed out, it's an individual sport. You pointed out the All-Star team is at risk, and there's this Lopez who, right, you know, at this juncture, certainly an All-Star candidate, that's for sure. She wants to put another win on the board.
You know, and you are perpetually auditioning for something.
Right.
Whether it's the All-Star or the coach to bring you back next week. So there's a lot out there going, and, you know, just the idea of performing.
Barbra Streisand said it best in her album, Art of Making Art. You're always auditioning.
Very well said. And here Lizette Lopez auditioning pretty well.
Yeah, she is. You know, Moran is, as I said, a certain kind of fighter that is kind of tailor-made for Lizette Lopez. And the problems that Moran had against Ashlyn Lozado when she was facing her, who left-handed amateur fighter, who, as they fought at pros, is kind of similar to what's going on here. And, you know, Denise Moran's just a very resilient, good fighter who will come in and give it her all. She's still landing some right hands against Lizette Lopez. And she has been, you know, a tough competitor here tonight.
If Lopez gets this, then Moran made her fight to earn it. No backward steps.
Yeah, she kept coming, and Lopez with just this great combination punching and the counter punching. The right hook, which she has used repeatedly. There you saw it twice within about 3 times within a 10-second period by Lopez.
TBL fans, the winner of round 21 by unanimous decision from the LA Elite, Lizette Lopez.
All right, so a double for Lopez. The good sportsmanship there between the competitors, and just a smiling satisfaction, a good night at the office for her.
Round 22 will be contested in the middleweight division. For the Houston Hitmen, it is Damian Laskelly. He will meet from the LA Elite, the U.S. Olympian and former world title challenger, Terrell Gausha.
Well, we talk about endlessly auditioning, and here's a guy probably on the hot seat for LA with Terrell Gausha, trying to put a few things together before playoffs come.
Yeah, you know, this 38-year-old veteran, a contender in boxing for many years, comes into the TBL. He's lost his first 3 matches, and Laskelly fought very well against him in the first fight and came away with the decision. And Terrell Gausha, as you said, would like to put a win here. They brought him in as a big name to their team, thinking it would be helpful. And he, you know, he needs to put his foot on the gas here and get some offense going, which he's had a hard time doing in this format.
Well, Laskelly with a couple of good, quick shots.
Gausha needs to channel his inner Gausha that fought Tim Tszyu in a fight I announced, in which he knocked Tszyu down in the very first round with a real nice right hand. And every round's
that urgency.
Yeah. And these are all the first rounds, aren't they? And the last round.
We saw him hop to that situation there, trying to adjust to the tempo and score what was Gausha.
Yeah, he's got to let the right hand go. He's got a nice right hand, and when he gets it in, it can be very effective. He's got to throw it.
And we see fighters at times labor with this format. Okay, if this is the first round of a different type of a fight, you say, okay, I'll do this, I'll break him down later. There's no later. I guess the intended suplex was borderline infraction.
Lascali was more aggressive in the first encounter between the two, and here he comes now with some more activity. That's how he won the first round that they fought, and now he's starting to put together some of those punches with a minute left to go in this round.
You know, we always talk about every round is the last round, and toward that idea, you know, it's always later than you think.
Yeah, that's very good point. Lascali with a nice straight left hand.
Gachet trying to get that right hand lead going, and like you're saying, it's like can't get the trigger. It's all in the holster, ready to go, and can't get it.
Yeah, it's been really hard for him to get that punch going, and he's faced two lefties now in his TBL career, 2 losses to Ardrell Holmes and a loss to Lascali, and now in his second fight against him. So, you know, you would think that right hand might sneak in there once in a while.
Yeah, the right hand lead is there for him. But it goes to show how the format is so unique here when we see named fighters, you know, in shape, athletes and everything. And this format that takes a while to become comfortable with.
Yeah, it really does. That was a close round. Lascali I thought came on in the last portion of the round after it was a good right hook by Lascali, and after Gachet had done some good work earlier. How much, I don't know. And Lascali with a kind of an awkward attack there, but he was the one mostly punching and mostly landing in the last part.
TBL fans, the winner of round 22 by way of unanimous decision from the Houston Hitman, Damian Lascali.
Good performance by Lascali. Showing that this Houston team, everybody's still coming to fight in the money rounds.
Our penultimate money round will be in the super middleweight division. Houston Hitman, it is Devin Thorne. His adversary from the LA Elite, Raul Solomon. The referee in charge of round 23 when it begins is Rudy Barragan.
Okay, 2 rounds to go in this historic evening for the LA Elite.
This is one of the really good fights this evening. Raul Solomon, you see his record in this season, and he's got over 20 wins now, 21 wins as a TBL performer in his career. He's in his 3rd season. And he and Thorne put on a very good round the last time. Thorne was able to keep it close with some really nice right hands, but the pressure of Solomon ultimately swayed the judges. Solomon's one of those guys, too, as they look ahead to the playoffs. You know, he's 4-2, but his history in the TBL is a real solid one. And I'll tell you what, he's somebody that they could look to in the playoffs to really help them at the 168-pound division.
Yeah, veteran guy, sort of coming into his own right now. And that's what you hear from the teams after one good team performance. We're gelling, we're coming together. really something how 1 week to the next, certain teams can have a big night and then not a good night, then a big night again. And the teams that have been the most consistent, Philly, Miami, and Vegas, are at the top. And this is a team that probably none of them would like to face.
Yeah, LA, like Phoenix, like, San Antonio is another example, even though they're already in the playoffs, of course. They're teams that they have a roster that is bursting and could join those elite teams. And Solomon is doing a great job here. Thorne's fighting well. Thorne, boy, Solomon's nailing him with big shots, but Thorne has fought well. It's just that Solomon's pressure has been a little bit too much, and Thorne's ended up against the ropes so much.
Solomon coming back now to put the pressure on. Thorne waiting for him. In its final half minute, we'll see who can make their best case. This is not where Thorne would normally like to position himself. He was hoping that Solomon walks into a mistake here, but...
Well, and Thorne was able to land the straight right hand more in their first round than he has in this one. He got some really good right hands in that first round. There's one. Oh, boy, after a jab.
Yeah, that was a real good one, and he wasn't on the ropes when he did that, so he landed his best shot, and it was well taken, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Devin Thorne has a good right hand, but boy, Solomon's been, when he's been hit with that punch, has kind of just shrugged it off, even the real good ones. This is the pressure from Solomon. Thorne occasionally throwing in a really good jab like that, counter punching. And there's the right hand. Here's one of the right hands that bounced off the head of the face of Solomon by Thorne, but likely not enough to get him the decision.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 23 by way of unanimous decision from the LA Elite, Raul Solomon.
Like good scrap, a lot of rounds close. We're seeing a lot of excellent fundamentals by this LA team.
Our final money round will be in the lightweight division. From the Houston Hitmen, presenting Manuel Sangruni. His opponent from the LA Elite, Keith Hunter. And the referee in
Brody
charge
and
with the
Hunter had a real good scrap the first time.
Is Rudy Barragan.
All right, so here we go, final round of the competition, and it's a good one.
You know, this is a situation where here's Keith Hunter, as we mentioned, a person that's made an impact in boxing outside of the GBL in his early 30s, and here, back after a two-season layoff from TBL, now in his third fight. First one he lost the decision to Osvaldo Caballero. He was, of course, a terrific fighter with Miami, and then he won this last one against Sangroni. He's trying to show LA, I'm a guy that you could throw in there in the playoffs, and I can be a factor for you. And they've brought him back toward the end of this season now.
He's got this one. They have one more matchup, so maybe they can throw him into that and see how he progresses from fight to fight. This fight that did 2025, he lost to a 27-0 Albert Bell. So he's been in with top fighters. He's got a lot of rounds.
So Albert Bell is now getting a title shot against Abdullah Mason.
So that's a real good feather in his cap to come into here and try to figure this all out.
Yeah, and Hunter is one of those fighters that, you know, he's not pulled. Good right hand by Sangroni, and so he keeps the aggression going. Hunter is not the kind of fighter that you think of immediately for this format because he's a decision kind of guy that goes a long way, but he can be effective and has been shown effectiveness here in the one-round format because he's busy. He isn't just boxing, not punch. Sangroni coming forward, and Hunter hitting him with the right hand.
Now Sangroni, of course, is going to be in your face, going to park himself there, and then you have to try to stave him off.
And there's what Hunter wants to do. Punch, move, punch, move. And when he does that, he's a handful for anybody with that height and reach and the educated jab and a good straight right hand and a good uppercut. He's got offensive tools.
There's a good right hook by Sangroni. And we see Hunter trying to utilize that uppercut, which we did see a little at the end of the first fight, and we see a little bit of it here. Right now, Sangroni not distracted by that Hunter jab.
No, and Sangroni has done some good offensive work in this round. Oh, good collar combination punching from Hunter. And boy, they created a really great scenario for the last minute of this round. And Hunter feels he won, so does Sangroni, and it was a very close round.
So based on their reactions, you might expect a split, but we'll see if it works out that way. They both stood tall at the end.
Boy, did they ever. This sequence at the end, they were both landing big shots. And it was, as we've seen, despite the big disparity in the team score, we have had many rounds that were like that, close and action-filled.
One thing you always like is a fight coming right around the corner.
Of round 24 by way of split decision from the LA Elite, Keith Hunter.
Well, that's a bit of a confidence booster for him as he tries to lobby with his team to put me into the lineup, coach. What a great night for LA. It started early and continued all the way through. So when we come back, we'll take a further look at what happened and the honor rolls after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Well, what is the balance of nature star of the fight in a myriad of possibilities on this big night for LA? Let's take a look at one Angel Munoz.
Well, in his first round of the night, the only round, he destroyed Solomon Colton in his debut in Team Boxing League, and Munoz, who has been a star on the rise for LA, showed it tonight and made his teammates proud.
That's when they knew something special was indeed on the way to happening tonight. Let's go inside and get the full honor roll list.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Thunder Studios here in Los Angeles, our final score, the LA Elite 36, the Houston Hitmen 3. Here are your 3 stars of the fight. Number 3 star, Houston Hitman middleweight, Damiana Lascali. Number 2 star, LA Elite hard-hitting heavyweight, Jonathan Rice. Balance of nature, number 1 star, LA Elite's very own, the always entertaining Angel Munoz. Round of the night, an exceptional battle. Round number 1 between Julie Gallegos and Erica Sanchez.
Coach Brian, talk to me about bringing in the new fighters and how it affects your strategy week to week.
Well, when you're bringing in new people, 5 or 6 at a time, you don't have a good background on them. So you really never know what you're going to get. But the bottom line is we ran into an incredible team. Hats off to Coach Robles, the LA squad. They did fantastic. They won fair and square, and I wish them the best of luck in the playoffs. Yep.
Thanks, Coach. Coach Manny Robles, you said the home team advantage was really going to help. What did you see in each of the fighters that you liked?
What did I see? That, determination, never giving up. And that's my team. I'm very proud of my team. Win, lose, or draw. When I know that they go out there and they give it their all, they give it their best effort, I'm proud. I'm proud of my team. Like I said, sometimes things don't always go our way, but as long as I know that they're going out there and giving it 100%, that's the most important thing.
And how do you keep the team focused even after a big win like tonight?
You got to stay grounded, stay humble. We had a minor setback last week in Utah. I think there was a lot of unfair decisions back there, and fortunately tonight we're working with one of the best commissions in the world, with the California State Athletic Commission. Can't say the same thing about the Utah Commission, and I think we did great.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats. Damian, you stepped into the ring not once but twice, beating a former world title challenger. What does that do for you as a fighter? What type of confidence does that give you? Te metiste hoy en el cuadrilátero, no nomás ganaste una vez, sino 2 contra un peleador que ha intentado ganar un título. ¿Eso qué te da de seguridad como un peleador?
Me siento primeramente muy emocionado y muy contento por esta oportunidad aquí en el ring, y eso me genera más confianza en mí mismo. Y me siento súper feliz de estar de vuelta en el ring después de 2 años sin pelear, y enfrentarme a un peleador de esa clase de nivel me da mucho más confianza. Y yo sé lo que yo doy, yo soy un peleador élite.
He feels really good about tonight, especially going against a fighter who has those many accolades. He hadn't been in the ring in 2 years, so he feels good and he feels confident. Felicidades, gracias. Jonathan, going on to the heavyweights, congrats on the win tonight. Now, were you inspired by your teammate Angel, who got that knockout, for you to keep that momentum going?
Listen, absolutely. I actually had lunch with him yesterday, so he was very encouraging, as well as the other team members and the coaches. So it's just a big family right now, just building each other up.
Well, I might need to know what you guys had for lunch that gets those knockouts going. Maybe Angel will give me the key. All right, Angel, congrats. Where is it that you guys went out to lunch that you gave him that confidence?
I don't know what he's talking about. We went out to lunch, probably barbecue. I think we went barbecue.
All right, the secret sauce. Now, you helped your team get 8 points on the scoreboard tonight. How good does it feel to come out victorious in your hometown?
It feels great. I mean, it's amazing. This was the last home fight, but I think we'll have another home fight when we get to playoffs.
Congrats on the win. We're going to send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Sophia, and nice to hear from everybody on their opinions on what happened tonight. Well, a great night for LA. We still have some more for you in our broadcast this evening, so stay with us. We'll be back to put a wrap on it right after this. It's celebration time for the LA Elite, a night for the ages in this league. 36-3, just a great performance by the LA Elite. They clinch a playoff spot. Dave Bontempo with Al Bernstein, just pretty much, I guess, up and down an incredible night, one that LA will remember.
Yeah, and think about this. If Damian Lascali doesn't get a double for Houston, think of where they would be. They only had 3 points here tonight. You know, an amazing performance by the LA Elite consistently.
All right, let's look at the story via the highlights. It started in the launch rounds. LA was already off to a hot start, and then Angel Munoz, who would be the star of the fight, shows you why. Against an opponent who hasn't fought, you go right at him, and you try to get 4 points just like that, as he did, and LA had a huge lead after this.
Then it was time for the heavyweights in round 8, and the big man, Jonathan Rice, against a smaller Mike Nguyen, really just showed power right from the beginning and would get his second stoppage of the season, sending him down and then creating a stoppage with the referee, and that was a 4-pointer that ended a tremendous launch round for LA.
And it led to a scratch and 4 more points for LA, so that was really an 8-point bomb by Jonathan Rice. And then we go to the women in round 9, and Moran and Lizette Lopez. Excellent fight all the way through. Lizette Lopez talking about the fact that she's beaten some very good fighters all throughout the year, and she knew that she did everything right in that win.
And then even though it was one-sided overall for LA, we saw some great individual rounds. This was one, Oscar Trujillo taking on Jose Cholet of LA, and they battled it out over 3 minutes. It was a terrific back and forth, but Cholet, though he got cut, got the decision.
Well, we thought Gallegos and Erica Sanchez might be the fight of the night. Well, round one ended up being the fight of the night, and this has to be right behind it. They went right at it in round 17. I call this 6 minutes of bliss, both fights, because they were in each other's face all night long. A terrific battle captured by Erica Sanchez.
And the work by the LA women would continue with Erica Frias in round number 20 against Natalia Denise. The second win of the night for Frias, the former world champion, and she was spectacular, as was the entire LA team.
Let's take a look at the standings now as the LA Elite stamped that playoff ticket. Nashville smashed right on that red line with the Atlanta Attack right behind them. Still some work to do for those teams. They have another chance to make their case. And Houston now out of it, and that's how it's shaping up right now here as we head down to the final moments of the season. Well, I'll tell you what, in between the loss to Vegas, in which they still started, LA comes up with 2 very good victories for them all season long. So I think it was just a great outing by that team all night. Let's see how they carry forward, and let's see how we will look at Phoenix and Las Vegas. 2 playoff teams will give us a preview as we will get that thing started, and you will get one more look at them before they go to the playoffs. Well, it was Mr. Munoz setting the pace, 36-3. Jonathan Rice, an 8-point bomb, and the bombs kept coming. Thank you for being with us. For my pal Al Bernstein, for Jason Moon, for Clark Rowe, for all the people in Team Boxing League and everybody who did such a great job. This is Dave Bontempo saying continue to enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon.